On the world news, WHO pauses to distribute polio vaccines, and Jenin refugee camp attacked by Israeli military. This is the world news. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the world news on Providence Television International. Edna Caesar Garrick is my name. The World Health Organization WHO says it has received a preliminary commitment allowing for temporary humanitarian pauses in Gaza to distribute polio vaccines as deteriorating conditions caused by Israel's war fuel the spread of disease and illness throughout the besieged Strip. Real P. Pekron, WHO representative in the Palestinian territory, said on Thursday that the three pauses will take place from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. and last for 3 days each in different areas of Gaza beginning on Sunday. Humanitarian and medical groups said Israel's early 11-month assault on Gaza has displaced almost the entire population and created a sanitary proliferation of disease. Abdel Rahman Abu El Jendian, 10-month-old Palestinian, became partially paralyzed this week after contracting polio, which had not been present in Gaza for 25 years. P. Pekon said the campaign will aim to vaccinate 640,000 children under the age of 10. The Palestinian group Hamas told reporters that it welcomed the news and would work with international organizations to help facilitate the campaign's success. Israeli authorities said on Wednesday that vaccinations would be carried out in coordination with the Israeli military. The humanitarian group have accused Israel of systematically dismantling medical infrastructure and targeting humanitarian aid workers in Gaza throughout the conflict. Simbonjile Majava sits outside her small tent sock at the Wembley Stadium homeless shelter on the eastern outskirts of Johannesburg, her third temporary home since a deadly fire tore throughout the building she was living in a year ago. The fire, the 34-year-old South African, her Tanzanian partner Mundi, 36, and their toddler have been hoping to get back on their feet since the August 2023 blaze in the dilapidated Usindiso building in the inner city killed 76 people and left hundreds homeless. But a year later, surrounded by tent and makeshift dwellings in the former sports stadium turned shelter, the couple feel homeless and abandoned by those they thought would help them. In 2018, the government installed container homes, water, electricity and stand-alone Absalon unit at Wembley, which also houses survivors of the 2017 Cape York building fire and people they evicted from a derelict building called Fetis Mansion. Building fires have become common in downtown Johannesburg, where hundreds of what city officials call hijacked buildings have been taken over by criminal cartel. These gangs petition off rooms and rent them out illegally to poor and desperate people while offering no services like functioning water, electricity or sewage, which creates unsafe living condition. Lucindo was in a similar state by the time the deadly fire happened last August, with a commission of inquiry into the blaze finding that it housed 200 shacks partitioned with highly inflammable materials. Amid the largest Israeli assault on the occupied West Bank since the Second Intifada, the city Jenin, its nearby refugee camp, once again find themselves in the focused Israeli military attack. As at the time of this report, Jenin city, housing nearly 15,000 people, were surrounded by Israeli forces as part of a wider attack that has been assault launched at Jenin, Nablus, Tubas, to Karim, and has so far killed 10 Palestinians and wounded many more. Access to hospital has been blocked with death barriers with other medical facilities surrounded by troops. In a statement, the governing Palestinian Authority, which has nominal responsibility for the territory, said hospitals were under siege and warned repercussions over what is said were threats to storm them. Jenin has been the focal point for Israeli military incursions many times before, which in a long history of military assault have, in the words of Zian Shubi, Palestinian human rights organizers in the West Bank, like Gaza on a smaller scale. Israeli attack on Jenin are hardly new, from the president's assault to the violence of the second Intifada between 2000 and 2005. Jenin had already been far from the worst of the storm that continues to rage across the West Bank. The refugee at Jenin is thought to be home to about 14,000 people, nearly all descendants of the Palestinians disposed of their land and homes when the State of Israel was created in 1948. Conditions in the camp are desperate. Of 10 camps across the occupied West Bank, Jenin has the highest rate of unemployment and poverty. If you are just joining us, this is the world news on Providence Television International. Two airline passengers who locked a stranger's crying grandchild in a plane restroom have caused outrage in China and sparked a heated online debate on how to handle upset children in public places. The incident went viral this week after one of the two women involved posted a video on social media which shows them inside a locked lavatory with a wailing girl who appeared to be about a year old. As the girl stopped crying, the woman filming the video picked her up. The incident took place August 24 aboard a Juanyao airline flight from the southwestern city of Zhejiang to Shanghai. The toddler was flying with her grandparents and cried non-stop during the early 3-hour flight. The airline said in a statement, the two passengers took the child to the restroom to educate her with her grandmother's consent. The statement added, but a day later, a criticism mounted. The airline's customer service department apologized for the incident and oversight to the crew, adding it condemned the two passengers' behavior. In recent years, complaints about young children crying or acting out on flights and trains have regularly trended on social media, with many accusing parents of not doing enough to manage their kids' behavior. These incidents have fueled an ongoing debate about parenting in public places in China, where the government is desperately trying to persuade couples to have more children. Away from the foreign scene, now back home, the Ondo State Independent Electoral Commission (OTEC) again shifted the local government election to January 18, 2025. Dr. Joseph Aremo, OTEC chairman, made the announcement during a stakeholders meeting held at the commission's headquarters in Akure. Reports say that the election, which was to be conducted on December 16, 2023, was postponed to February 17, later postponed to July 13, and finally postponed indefinitely before the announcement of the new date. Aremo, however, stated that the election was never cancelled but rescheduled due to non-compliance of political parties with the electoral guidelines and processes, as he assured residents of the Commission's readiness to conduct a free, fair and credible election, promising that the exercise would be transparent. He urged political parties that had conducted primaries before the postponement to forward the validated list of candidates to the Commission. The Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria has urged the federal government to resolve the rising price and hardship in the country. In a communique issued at the end of a week-long second plenary meeting of the CBCN held in Auchi Diocese, Edo State, the clerics urged the federal government to support farmers and subsidize soft loans, modern technology, and improved seedlings. The bishop said such measures should also involve supporting small and medium-sized enterprises. He said Nigerians were currently groaning under the hardship fueled by high electricity tariff, high cost of petroleum products, transportation, and Medicare, as well as poor lack of basic infrastructure. The conference also called for a radical change of heart from political ideology that promotes arbitrary use of power for self-enrichment to politics to service and solidarity with the people. The bishop declared 2024 the year of prayer in preparation for the Jubilee Year of Hope in 2025. He emphasized that prayer must be accompanied by action and repentance of wrongdoings as individuals, communities, leaders, as a nation. The bishop expressed deep concern over the increasing arbitration during worship, such as unruly Lenten celebrations, excessive monetary collection, lack of silence and decorum, and alteration of sacramental words and elements. They called for intensified vigilance to ensure the liturgy is celebrated according to the approved norms. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, has reassured Nigerians that the military will soon surmount the prevailing security challenges bedeviling the country. Lagbaja stated this during the closing ceremony of the COAS Combined Second and Third Quarters Conference 2024 on Thursday in Uyo. He said the reassurance is based on the security briefing received from different army formations and commands across the country, adding that the feedback from the various commanders was encouraging, noting that the prevailing security challenges facing the nation, though daunting, are surmountable and that they are indeed on the right path to victory. Lagbaja also expressed the loyalty, commitment of the Nigerian Army to the country's constitution, as well as the promotion of national interest and value, as he further thanked participants for their sincerity and passion through the deliberation, just as he stated that the Secretariat has adequately captured the decision arrived at during the deliberation. Properties worth millions of naira destroyed as tragedy struck on Friday when fire gutted part of two-story building at the Lagos State Government staff quarters at Odunsami Street off Webco Road, Ogba area of the state. According to report, the incident happened in the wee hours of the day, precisely around 2:20 a.m. It was gathered that one of the two bedrooms in Flat 5 of Block 21, a two-winged, three-story building of 16 two-bedroom flat, was burnt. The preliminary investigation conducted by the Lagos State Emergency Management LESEMA revealed that the fire originated from an electrical surge in the children's room. Permanent Secretary LESEMA, Dr. Femi Oke-Osin-Tolu, said the fire completely destroyed the children's bedroom, resulting in loss of property worth millions of naira. It was gathered that the prompt and coordinated effort of the agency's LRT, MPF, Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service ensured the fire was contained and extinguished quickly. Fortunately, there was no loss of life and injuries sustained in the incident. However, victims and other occupants were enlightened on the proper use of electric appliances. With that, we've come to the end of the world news. But before we go, a recap. We brought you the story which says two airline passengers who locked a stranger's crying grandchild in the plane restroom have caused outrage in China and sparked a heated online debate on how to handle upset children in public places. The incident went viral this week after one of the two women involved posted a video on social media which showed them inside a locked lavatory with a wailing girl who appeared to be about a year old. As the girl stopped crying, the woman filming the video picked her up. We also told you that amid the largest Israeli assault on the occupied West Bank since the Second Intifada, the city Jenin and its nearby refugee camp once again find themselves in the focus of Israeli military attack. As at the time of this report, Jenin city, housing nearly 50,000 people, was surrounded by Israeli forces as part of a wider attack that has been launched at Jenin, Nablus, Tubas, Tulkarem, and has so far killed 10 Palestinians and wounded many more. And finally, the World Health Organization said it has received a preliminary commitment allowing for temporary humanitarian pauses in Gaza to distribute polio vaccines as deteriorating conditions caused by Israel's warfare of the spread of disease and illness throughout the besieged strip. Rick P. Pecon, WHO representative in the Palestinian territory, said on Thursday that the three pauses would take place from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. and last for 3 days each in different areas of Gaza, beginning on Sunday. That's our package. Thanks for watching. Edna Zagaric is my name. Good afternoon.